Welcome everybody back to Meet the Team. I have Drew Burdick here with me today. He is our Charlotte area practice director for experience design. Drew, welcome aboard. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks so much for taking time out of your crazy day to jump on here. As I start every show, tell us a bit about you, man.
Yeah, for sure. So as you said, I lead the experience design practice for Slalom Charlotte. It's been an honor and a privilege. Really enjoy it. Great team. Prior to my time here, I was a design director at AIG, big insurance company, leading the design system team. Before that, I worked at Red Ventures for a couple of years, and then before that, I ran a small agency here in town focused on providing creative services for small and medium-sized businesses. So, done a lot of different things in a lot of different industries and different sizes and periods of kind of a business life cycle. So,
An avid camper as well, right? We picked up on
yeah,
that
yeah.
before this.
That's right. That's right. Avid camper. Well, at least through COVID, right? When you're kind of limited to your house, you got to get outdoors. We started to camp a lot more over the last year or so.
Drew, I'll tell you, I've been trying to grow the beard for this day, just so I can catch up in some way, but obviously nowhere close. But nicely done there, nicely done.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So just a few questions, man. I'll definitely tell you. I've really enjoyed seeing experience design continue to expand. Now, you've been in this game a lot longer than I have, but it feels like it just continues to grow and grow with human-centered design, conversational design. I guess, what do you see, or what are you most excited about regarding the future of your space?
Yeah, so I'm most excited because I honestly feel like we're experiencing a golden age of experience right now. Because for a long time, design has been fighting for a seat at the table, as it were, and I think we finally have earned that seat. We're having really great conversations with key decision makers across all industries, right? Big players, C-suite level folks are saying, like, hold on, we need to have a great customer experience. How are we going to do this? And then they're talking to design folks to figure that out. So that's really exciting that we actually have that seat now, and we have the ability to influence and shape the direction, not just from a what is the thing going to be, but like, why are we even doing this? What are we going to do? All of those sort of big questions. I'm also really excited about the fact that people are more bought in than ever on research and the value of research. I think a big difficulty has been just getting people excited and used to the idea of, like, hey, research is valuable and it'll save you a lot of time, effort, and pain later on if you do it up front. You really understand what your customers care about. What do people need from you as a brand or as a business? And so those are things that get me really excited. I also love that a lot of designers over the last 10, 15 years have kind of evolved from this sort of, a lot of folks work in information architecture or interaction design. Then there was also folks who are more like visual design, graphic design. And those worlds are really blending and like kind of blurring. You've got people who started in kind of graphic design, marketing design, communication design. They moved into more strategic thinking and really driving forward the business initiatives to kind of drive, what's the best customer experience? Like, what does this thing need to look like end to end? Not just like from this, interface here, but like holistically, how do we put all these pieces together? And so anyway, those are things that are exciting. I'm really, really, we have a lot of conversations with a lot of really cool people, and they're all sitting there scratching their head about, how do we do this? And the pandemic has accelerated that conversation in the marketplace. So yeah, I don't know, that's up every day. It gets me excited.
That's amazing. I think, to your point, the different groups that are now kind of fitting in and wanting to learn more about the experience that people have and consumers have, whatever that is. I think when I started in this game, it was all about, how can we make the website prettier, right? What makes it look nice? And now it's getting all this research back data to create something that's just a better experience. It's being in it from your perspective. I can imagine how excited you are what the future looks like in comparison to what it once was. So I'm excited and rooting for you, Drew. I'll tell you that much, to keep that
Appreciate
going.
it. Yeah.
You mentioned something too. More and more people are getting excited and wondering, like, all right, how do we do this? How do we make this better? I'm starting to see that more people, as a career, are looking into experience design and really getting into the space and don't know how to do it or like what angle to take. So I guess what advice would you give those that either are in marketing or those that are coming out of college or whatever that is and say, man, I really want to switch over into this field?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there are a lot of programs out there now that are hawking the like UX boot camp. And it's a very controversial topic because there's people who say, "Oh, boot camp can't teach you everything you need to know." And then I've interacted with some people who've come through those boot camps and been extremely educated, really smart people, really talented, and they end up becoming really great designers. Um, my simple answer is that I don't think there's a shortcut, right? Like experience design is messy, it's squishy, it's not as clearly defined as maybe some other industries. The best thing that you can do is to get around other people who are doing this also, and learn through osmosis. I think about the days of like apprenticeships and things like that. Like I think there's a lot of merit and value because things are changing so rapidly. You go through a course, you know, go to school, like those are good things, but they're often static. Like they're often focused on a point in time, and technology is changing so rapidly, experiences are changing so rapidly, it's hard to keep up. So I think just being around other people who talk about this stuff and they think about this stuff, like I've learned a ton just through osmosis of being around like the team that I'm a part of, like a super talented team. And they challenge me every day, right? Like we're sharing interesting articles and looking at things like Medium and watching YouTube videos. And there's just a lot of organic learning that happens. It's not as simple as like go to this program and learn this stuff. The other way that I think is, you know, and I share this with some folks that I mentor, look at what you think is a good experience and then, you know, start to dissect why. Like, why is this good? Like you know, a lot of people look at Apple as a kind of a, you know, the forefront of experience and what a good experience looks like. There's a lot of other brands and companies that do it really well, Airbnb and others. Take a look at those things and start to dissect like why is this good. And then, you know, another thing too, if you're trying to practice, what I tell people is like, go try to replicate what you see that is good, right? So not only understand like why is it good and like what is it that makes it good, but start to just try to repeat it, right? Like how might I make this thing in this way? So those are a couple of things. I also think design is such a weird industry where there's so much that you have to know about a lot of different things, and so designers will often they'll focus purely on the design craft, but there's a lot to be said around better understanding like technologists and like the technology itself and how it fits together. You don't have to know how to code necessarily, but knowing like how these things come together to produce a desirable, feasible, viable solution. In addition, like understanding the language of business. I wish that I had known more about business earlier on in my career. You know, I kind of learned it through hard knocks. Like I ran my own business and that was just trial and error, figuring it out. But if you can speak in the language of business and you can speak in the language of engineers and technology people, that's what makes, I think, a great designer in 2021 is being able to connect all those dots and kind of see the forest through the trees, right?
That's awesome. Based on that answer, I'm going to go back and revisit this whole video series and see how my users are experiencing it and how how you and others have enjoyed being on it. So I appreciate that insight. I feel like it could be used in so many different ways. So we're going to do this a little rapid fire here for you. All right. It's going to be some fun questions. Are you from Charlotte or you just lived here for a bit?
No, I've been here for 16, 17 years, and I grew up overseas in the Philippines, so not from Charlotte originally. Yeah.
Well, these are going to be some Charlotte-related questions, and then a fun one at the end that I think you'll appreciate. So, first of all, quick facts. Charlotte is the pimento cheese capital of the world. Did not know if you knew that. I just learned that with a quick Google search.
Did not know that.
So, very important questions. Pepsi or Coke?
Neither. I don't drink sodas.
All right. Bojangles or Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. Easier to order. I got kids, so can't beat that experience.
And then Sketch or Figma?
Figma. I was, so believe it or not, I was the sketch ambassador for Charlotte like 2 years ago, and it was doing meetups and everything. And I have gone like completely the opposite direction. I think COVID For anybody who's not on Figma, I highly recommend you get on it. It makes life 1,000 times simpler. I just got to say. So.
Awesome. I'm glad I was able to sneak that one in there. Uh, so, last thing, is there anything else, that you want the viewers and people listening to know about or learn about you that you really want to share right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I came up in a weird way. Like I started on a different path, and there is no right path to experience design. I just kind of articulated a lot of different things that help you become or kind of get into this industry. There's no right answer. We've got people on the team from all stages of life with all different kinds of backgrounds. It isn't as simple as like do these things and kind of go this path, and then therefore you'll be a good designer. I think the best designers, the people that I know that are like really the top of the craft, are the ones that are constantly learning, constantly challenging themselves, not limiting to just sort of like one narrow field of view, but saying, like what's all the stuff on the periphery. So I think, for those maybe who are watching and kind of saying, hey, it would be interesting to work at Slalom, but I don't know if I have a skill set, like try, right? We're actually hiring a lot of roles right now. So if you are interested and you're watching this video, definitely reach out to Jose or myself or someone else, because we'd love to talk to you. I think don't count yourself out if you feel like you don't have the ideal path to design. So.
That's awesome. You bring up a good point. We are hiring, Drew, and it is on your teams. So it's a great plug. I love it when when it's on here. But man, I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate you jumping on and sharing your insights. So thanks so much. And everyone, I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody.